Hello, podcast listener. Welcome to another edition. Today we're going to talk about a little thing called hunger. Now, there's something that I believe, that I've shown, that I've seen. Definitely saw it this weekend with Conor McGregor when he's getting smacked in the face and he's starting to think, how much hunger has that person got now? When you look at Conor McGregor when he was climbing his way up, absolute animal. Just before that, no money whatsoever. And when you see a fighter, when you see anybody actually, business person, race drivers, when they haven't got the cash, that is the person that gets them to succeed. That's the person that I always bring myself down to. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a huge Rocky fan. And the reason I'm a Rocky fan is because of the way Rocky in the film, Rocky 1, watch it. If you haven't watched it, it's a 1976 film. Filmed in the same year I was born. So that's kind of ironic. But when you look at the storyline, it matches, or kind of matches, metaphorically. It matches Sylvester Stallone's story of him having to sell his dog to get some food in order to get the money to buy food for his family. They were living with no heating, broken windows, still wanted to be this bloody Hollywood star, even though he was not the prettiest boy, and he couldn't even speak. That kind of person has hunger. You give somebody like that, with that mindset, who doesn't care about having all the fancies in life, doesn't care about a big house, a nice flashy car, they just want their North Star. Kind of rhymes. And if you've got somebody who's dedicated, who has immense hunger, which is the main topic of today, and they're chasing that goal, it's magical to watch. They'll do anything. They'll work every hour, but it's not really work. It's just chasing. It's just them basically like a dog with a ball. They see it, they're focused, they don't care about anything else. They go and fetch the ball, bring it back, and why don't you throw it again? It's that energy. When you have that energy and you apply it to your career, it's electric. It gives you purpose. It makes you feel indestructible, and you do things other people wouldn't even think about doing because it's too scary or it's too risky, outside the comfort zone again. It just forces you to take the actions that are needed and necessary in order to get the goal. I want to speak about that today because in my own life I had moments of, or periods of my life where that hunger was massively there. And I use that as a barometer, as a sort of gauge of where I am now. So don't let my hunger go. Well, if it does go, and months on end, you're starting to feel a bit low and like, you know what, things are not happening. I'm not feeling it like I used to. Instead of looking at myself like I do with my students and clients and saying, out of 10, what's your motivation like? I started coaching, I used to use the out of 10 all the time. But recently, or the last 10 years recently, I've started to use periods of their life and my life where their hunger was through the roof, or a certain emotion or happiness or part of their life was exactly how they wanted it up here mentally. Probably wasn't like it was outside with their results, but they were there mentally and they know they want to get back there. That's our 10. So when I think about my own life, I think, right, Enzo in 1998, when he was this pizza delivery driver who was chasing to be a race driver, and then he won the championship. That guy, that's a 10. This dude was holding down 3 jobs. He believed he could get to F1. He had that as a realistic goal in his head. He was speaking to everybody. He was writing his own press releases. He was going to PR companies to get them to help. He was talking to sponsors, had a website and all this. And the website in 98 was pretty high tech, Had everything in place and was pushing like a demon and working out. Really fit. That guy is my 10. And then when racing stopped, the hunger was there to become the best coach. I think it dipped a little bit around 2003 and then came back around 2005 and I was back. And them 2 parts of my life are really the barometer of me checking in. Am I feeling like Enzo 1998 right now? Am I feeling like Enzo 2006 right now? And these allow the brain to go back to a feeling of how I was, and it checks in just to make sure that I am still hungry. And I bloody am. I really am. That hunger's still there. That desire to be the best coach is still there. To advance people. I tell you what, it's such a kick. But this is less about me. This is more about you. I want to make sure, or want you to make sure, that hunger is there. Because hunger is energy. If you have this energy and it's bursting, you're bursting at the seams because you want something so bad in life, and then you're directing that energy into action, you're going to get there. Or on the way, you're going to find out some things about yourself, and you'll go in a different direction. Your destiny will change, but you'll find your way. You need that energy to drive you forward. If you have all this energy and you're pushing it into distraction, things that are not really taking you closer, because you're not getting much love and feedback and progress in your career, maybe you start to spend it in other ways to try and get the kick. That's not a good way of using the energy. So today is a message of saying, check in with yourself now. Check in with yourself to see just how much energy and hunger, desire that you have. Because it is your secret weapon. And if it's not as high as it should be, and you're feeling a bit low, the energy's not there, you start to learn about yourself. Start to say, okay, think about the times now when I did have that hunger. Write it down. Remember how you were. Remember what your life was like, what you were focusing on. And then start to prod yourself. Once you know, and you've got your barometer like I have, Enzo at 1998, that's what I want, that's what I want. How did I do it? What did I think about? How did I see the world? What were my inner rules and beliefs? Because I want to get back there. You can do the same for you. And that is a daily thing. Is Enzo 98? Not your Enzo. Is Enzo 98 in control right now? Is he here? If not, I better wake him up because he's got to get to work. That's how I approach it. And it does work. And now for some people, to get that energy, you can do things like using pain. Using things that shock you. It could be fear. It could be you looking at your competitors and seeing that they're advancing. Somebody in your industry who is a competitor, really, it's just a fellow, someone who likes the same things as you, who's got the same kind of company or is in the same sport as you. They're not really a competitor. They're your kin, to be fair. They are kindred spirit. They are loving the same things you love, so you've got a lot in common with them. So they're really not competitors. But if it drives you, if you see their success is pissing you off, and you're like, right, I am going to do this today, and that wakes up the hunger, fair enough. If you've got messages or memories in the head of what people have said in the past, parents, about you can't do that, what if, and these things are really going under your skin because people don't believe in you, let that drive you if it helps. Whatever gets you off your ass, basically. You have got to have the energy and the hunger in order to pull this dream off, in order to get there, right? So it's time for you to wake it up. Don't let another day go just being mundane, because you are here for a very short period of time and you've got to use it. A lot of people will say, I don't have to use it, I want to relax. That's fine, but them kind of people don't listen to this podcast. This podcast is for people who are striving, who know they want more out of life and compared to where they are now. If you are really that person, then you've got to make sure that mentally you have the mindset that allows you to get out there and do it. So go back to times in your memory when you were on fire. Use that as your 10 out of 10. That's your goal each day. Create that person. Put them in control. Wake them up by just prodding them and giving the things that really knock them and pee them off and get them going. And then direct that attention straight onto the actions that need to be taken that day. If you keep the hunger, then you will be forever growing. There's a saying actually that's work as if you're broke. And this is something that the wealthy people and people that have succeeded and achieved their original North Stars say. Because if they relax, then you get the fat, right? You start to relax, you start to enjoy the good things in life. You're no longer that person that you were inspired by. Go back to the person you were when you were the most hungry, wake them up, put them in control.